Welcome to Crime, Cocktails, and Cats. I'm Haley.
And I'm Amanda.
And today we're going to be covering a case that I'm actually really excited for. I have been following this case for it has to have been years now.
Yeah, you got me interested in it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe 6 years maybe I've been following this one. So we're going to be covering the Black Dahlia. Might ring a bell because I would say it's arguably one of the bigger unsolved cases.
Yeah.
Because there's still, it's years later, and there's still so much mystery tied to it.
It happened in such a central location. Mm-hmm. It's not like it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it forever baffles me.
Very interesting, this one, for sure.
So let's get right into it. So we'll start on the morning of January 15th, 1947. The city of Los Angeles awoke to what would be one of the most chilling and perplexing crimes in American history. The mutilated body of a young woman was discovered in a it's already in a vacant lot in Leimert Park neighborhood. This horrific murder was soon dubbed the Black Dahlia by the press, and it captivated the nation and sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Because at that point, there wasn't a lot that was major media.
Yeah.
I would say this was one of the bigger media fanfares back then.
It was how she was left, too.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in such a public space.
Oh. It's just... So to this day, this case remains unsolved, despite decades of speculations, thousands of pages of investigative files, hundreds of potential suspects. It has become a symbol of post-war noir Los Angeles, city of glamour, darkness, contradiction, and the media frenzy that surrounds this case, the public fascination with the gruesome crime, and the mystery that still hangs over the crime have helped cement the Black Dahlia into a cultural icon and historical.
It's a legendary, true story that people will be telling for decades.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to cover the life and death of Elizabeth Short, the details of the gruesome discoveries, the massive police investigation, as well as a couple suspects and some theories. So let's get into the woman herself, Elizabeth Short. So Elizabeth was born on July 29th, 1924, in the neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts. She was the third daughter of 5, born to Cleo and Phoebe Short. Elizabeth's early years were deeply affected by the Great Depression, unfortunately. In 1930, when she was only 6 years old, her father abandoned the family by faking his own suicide.
Oh, what a way to do it.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't just say, oh, I'm going to get some cigarettes at the store. I'm going to get some milk. No, you decided to fake your suicide, traumatize your wife and all of your children.
Honest God.
Because, the children are so young that, she was 6 when her father killed himself.
Funeral services and everything, and these poor kids have... Oh, no, that's not right.
No, it's just, if you want to leave your family, do it like a man.
Own up and have some goddamn balls, please.
There's so many other ways to leave your family rather than traumatizing your children.
Yes.
That is a man who, he doesn't care.
No, that's exactly it. He's a narcissist who only cares about himself.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
Yes, so his car was found on a bridge and he disappeared without a trace. So left to raise 5 daughters alone, Phoebe worked multiple jobs and moved the family to Medford, Massachusetts, a working class suburb of Boston. So Elizabeth was known to her friends as Beth or Betty. She was a beautiful child with striking black hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. She was also often sick. So as a teenager, she suffered from chronic bronchitis and severe asthma, which led doctors to recommend a warmer climate for part of the year because her condition was so bad that she couldn't survive in the cold.
Wow.
Yeah, so For part of the winters, she would spend it in Florida with some family friends just to survive the cold. So this experience of bouncing back and forth between states kind of contributed to the lifelong feeling of rootlessness.
Yeah.
Because you're not stable at all. You can't ground yourself.
Yeah.
It's even hard to make friends because you're going to be bouncing back and forth. So you're never going to be the best friend because at that point it wasn't as easy as it is now to contact people across the globe.
There was no video calling. There was no text messaging.
Yeah, it's much harder. Yeah, so in her teenage years, Elizabeth became captivated by Hollywood, as most girls back then. She dreamed of being a film star, living among celebrities whose images just adorned the silver stars, because that was like peak Hollywood. I would say like that era, like 20s to like 50s.
Yeah.
I would say is like peak Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's when I think of like old classic Hollywood, I'd say that's the era I think of.
Definitely.
So, like many women, she saw California as the land of opportunity, glitz, glam, reinvention. So in 1943, she moved to California to pursue her dreams.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Just wish it would have worked out better.
So Elizabeth's time in the West Coast was obviously marked by instability. She had brief stints in various cities, including Santa Barbara, San Diego, and Los Angeles. She worked sporadically as a waitress, lived in boarding homes, hotels, and relied on male companions for support.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
She literally never had a stable life from beginning to end.
She was constantly bouncing.
That hurts my heart.
Mm-hmm. So she was often described as charming, flirtatious, well-dressed. She sort of created this image of mystery and allure. She just had that energy to her, and her life continued it, clearly.
Yeah.
She's always a mystery. So
she left an imprint on society.
Mm-hmm. So she frequently told her friends that she was on the verge of landing acting roles, although there's no record of her ever being in any films. She faced hardship and danger in 1943 when she was arrested in Santa Barbara for underage drinking, which led her to being sent back to Massachusetts temporarily. So after returning to California, she continued her transcendent life. Friends, acquaintances noticed her tendency to kind of present different versions of herself to everyone she was around. Kind of like a mirror, almost.
Yeah. Putting on a mask with every person that she meets, and it's different mask each time.
Mm-hmm. So she tended to present different versions of her life, sometimes claiming she was engaged to a military officer or connected to Hollywood insiders. These inconsistencies, along with her beauty and tragic fate, really helped fuel the mystery.
I get it, though. Like, she's had such a hectic life. All she ever dreamed of was stability.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing that she's telling everybody she absolutely has. It's coming.
Yeah, you can definitely. There's definitely reason.
Yeah,
and I really don't blame her. That's hard. She truly lived a hard life.
She really did.
Mm-hmm. So by the start of 1947, Elizabeth was living in Los Angeles, often staying with acquaintances or in low-cost hotels. She was reportedly last seen alive on January 9th when she left the Biltmore Hotel in downtown LA, telling some of her friends she was going to meet her sister. She vanished into the city, and for 6 days, no one knew where she was until her body was discovered. So we'll get into the discovery. So on the cold morning of January 15th, 1947, Betty Bersinger, a local housewife, was walking with her 3-year-old daughter along Norton Avenue when she noticed what appeared to be a discarded mannequin in a weedy lot.
It's always a mannequin.
Yep, between two houses. So as she came closer, she realized the horrifying truth of it all. It was the nude body of a young woman, dissected and grotesquely arranged, and she was mutilated beyond recognition. So her body had been completely drained of blood, giving her skin a pale hue. Her arms were raised above her head, bent at right angles, and her legs were spread wide apart. Her intestines had been tucked underneath her torso. The most disturbing feature was the slashing of her face from corners of her mouth to her ears,
Oh, dear God.
also now dubbed the Glasgow Smile. So Bursinger ran to the nearest house and called the police. LAPD officers quickly arrived on scene and were immediately struck by the brutality.
I bet that must be burned into their brains.
And not just the brutality, the precision of it. Because that's not just something anyone can do. That was very detailed. So there was no blood at the scene.
More interesting.
Oddly enough, indicating that the victim had been killed somewhere else and her body had been cleaned before being placed in the lot. The body showed signs of prolonged torture, including ligature marks on wrists, ankles, and neck. There were also cuts and abrasions on her body consistent with blunt force trauma. So she
suffered.
She really went through it. So fingerprint analysis identified the victim as Elizabeth Short. Her prints were on file due to her arrest, which thank God. Imagine if she didn't get arrested. We'd never know.
No, she would just be Jane Doe, probably until sometime now, when DNA is more affordable and more out there, and definitely.
So the coroner's report confirmed that she had been dead for about 10 hours prior to discovery. So the cause of death was determined to be a combination of hemorrhaging from lacerations to the face and blows to the head. The press obviously swarmed the crime scene and morgue.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Herald-Express gave the murders the infamous moniker, the Black Dahlia, likely inspired by Elizabeth's fondness for black clothing and the 1946 film noir, The Blue Dahlia. The name stuck and became synonymous with mystery, horror, and glamour. The LAPD quickly launched one of the largest investigations in history. Detectives were indicted with tips, false confessions, and sensational theories. The brutality of the murder, coupled with Elizabeth's life and beauty, made the story irresistible to tabloids. It was just such a crazy thing.
Honestly, the fact that it was done with such precision, drained of every drop of blood, and then left in another location, and nobody ever figured it out, is baffling.
So
and terrifying.
It's every angle you look at it, it's so scary.
Yeah.
So as the investigation gained momentum, the police received a startling development. An anonymous caller contacted the Los Angeles Examiner and promised to mail some of Elizabeth's belongings. Days later, a package arrived with her birth certificate, photographs, business card, and an address book. The items were meticulously cleaned with gasoline, leaving no fingerprints. The sender signed the letter with a mocking message. Here is Dahlia's belongings, letters to follow.
Wow.
So quite literally making a mockery of the police, saying, haha, you can't catch me.
Wow.
Yeah.
But with good reason. He freaking knew it.
It's kind of scary to me how many killers kill someone and then go on the boo boo, you can't catch me.
Right? Like, I'm right here.
Like, really?
It's
if you're gonna kill someone, at least like screw off.
Right.
You're telling me you're coming back for round 2 going, no, you can't catch me.
Yeah. Or there's the ones who just like full on insert themselves into the investigation. Like, oh no, dude, you gotta know it was totally this guy. I know it was him because they got in a fight 4.5 years ago.
It's always the fight.
Over $2.
Yep.
Always.
It's always a fight, either extremely long ago that like it's irrelevant.
Yep.
Or it's something tiny. I'd be like, you know, he took my fork from the cupboard and I really didn't like that.
Yep.
So I think that he killed him. It's like, what?
people's genuine lack of disregard for human life is terrifying.
So we'll get into some suspects and theories. So over the decades, the investigation has generated a wide array of suspects, obviously, years of mystery. So one of the earliest was Robert Red Manley, a traveling salesman who had been one of the last people to see Elizabeth alive. He dropped her off at Biltmore Hotel and he passed a polygraph test. Another early suspect was Mark Hansen, a wealthy nightclub owner who had offered her a place to stay. Though connected to her socially, no evidence tied him to the crime. So the next...
Okay, but she was missing for 6 days.
Mhm.
So somebody had to have been MIA for at least a chunk of time to be able to mutilate her, drain her of blood, clean her, move her.
Mhm.
You telling me like nobody had an open point in their schedule where all of a sudden they're just like, hey, this guy was MIA for like 4 hours.
But also, you got to think about it. It's the 1940s. It's a lot easier to disappear. Because nowadays, if I could go into my room for days, but you guys can text me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, she's alive. Whereas a grown adult back then can go into their house and not talk to anyone.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to disappear. Then you could just go, oh, I was just doing house chores, I was cleaning, I was doing this and that.
That's if they're single.
Yeah.
If they are not, and a lot of the time they are not,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a lot harder to explain.
Yeah.
But then somebody out there would have that thought in the back of their head, and you would think at some point in the last, almost a decade that they would have come forward with that.
You would think.
Maybe it is just somebody single, maybe a mortician
Mm-hmm.
or a doctor. Could even be like a vet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the next suspect, this is the one I full confidence believe it is.
Yeah.
So Dr. George Hodel.
Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor.
A physician with a disturbing background.
Okay.
So Dr. George Hill Hodel Jr. came under police scrutiny in October of 1949 when his 14-year-old daughter, Tamara, accused him of molesting her. Unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. His daughter, not step, not foster, daughter.
Gross.
Yeah. Accused him of molesting her, despite 3 witnesses testifying that they had seen him have sex with her. He was acquitted in December of 1949.
Of course he was.
The trial led the LAPD to include Hodel, a physician specializing in sexually transmitted diseases. Also, you had sex with your daughter and you're a physician who specializes in that stuff.
Right?
Like, get a grip.
Right?
Ugh. So they included him among many suspects.
Yeah. I can see why.
So in 2003, it was revealed in notes from the 1949 grand jury report that investigators had wiretapped George Hodel's hotel, not his hotel, his home, and obtained records of conversations of him with an unidentified visitor, saying, suppose I did kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary because she's dead. They thought there was something fishy. Anyways, now they may have figured it out. Killed her. Maybe I did kill my secretary.
Wait a minute. Is his secretary the Black?
No. His secretary is also
just dead.
Yeah. And nobody arrested him.
Shit. Hey, maybe we should look into this guy.
That's the thing that baffles me so much is they have this audio of him. Why is he not in cuffs? Why is he not rotting in prison.
With the media frenzy that surrounded this case, I am fucking baffled.
But that's the thing, is it never got to media because they didn't find out about the recording and notes they had on him till 2003. The case happened in the freaking 40s.
Wow.
They didn't find about it till 2003.
Wow.
This is why it's so baffling. So, in the early 2000s, his son, Steve Hodel, a former LAPD detective, published a book accusing his own father of the crime.
Dude.
Yep.
When your boy is like, hey, straight up, my dad killed her.
Yeah.
You take his word.
Literally.
You take his word.
And that's the thing, is they have so much evidence stacked against him with that recording. And he has the medical knowledge. He's a physician, so he could easily do that.
Maybe he had somebody in their pocket.
That's the only thing I can guess.
Fought his way out of it.
Because you got to think physicians, they make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Because I might be wrong, but I feel like I was looking at pictures of his house and it was like mansion.
Yeah, physicians definitely make quite a bit of money, and depending if you have any specialization, it obviously would go up from there. But yeah, I would definitely, and being a physician, you could even have patients that are high-ranking officials in certain places that could make things
not to like
go away.
Say nepo baby, but like that could have even be why his son is now a detective.
Yeah.
He could have easily pulled strings and be like, hey, get my boy in there.
Yeah.
It's very
Hopefully
interesting.
That's not the case.
No.
Because clearly the son seems to
have a good
head on his shoulders and a sense of morality.
So the recordings, circumstantial evidence, timeline, all obviously painted a very suspicious picture, but not one strong enough for prosecution. They never went through with it. So other suspects include morticians, surgeons, actors, even other members of the LAPD.
Wow.
Some theorists have linked the Black Dahlia to the Cleveland torso murders, noting similarities in victim mutilations. And with over 500 confessions over the years, none verified, the case remains a maddening web of dead ends.
I am very much doubting with everything inside of my soul that this was his only kill.
Oh, he said he killed. My secretary is dead.
Yeah.
You killed her.
He obviously killed her to shut her up so she wouldn't say, hey, he was MIA for a couple hours this day. A little bit off. He's been acting real off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he took care of that, made sure that loose end went away. Wow.
It's baffling. I believed it's him since I first got into the case, and I'm still firm in the belief that it is him.
When your own kid is pointing the finger saying, it is definitely my daddy.
That's when you gotta believe him.
Yeah.
So we'll get into a bit of the media frenzy and the public reaction. So the press obviously played a central role in shaping the Black Dahlia story. Reporters sensationalized the details of her life, calling her a party girl, portraying her as femme fatale. They often printed inaccuracies, stroking public fascination and fear.
Pretty woman died naked. They're going to run with that.
Of course they are.
It's horrible.
The Examiner even deceived Elizabeth's mother into thinking her daughter had won a beauty contest, so that way they could get a scoop. Unfortunately.
Fucking whoa.
Yeah. It's...
Oh, I'd kick that person in the nuts. If they didn't have nuts, it'd be a throat punch.
That is like TMZ level.
Right?
Like, that is so something I could see them doing.
Yeah.
I feel like they have. Like, they definitely have. Yeah. That is some TMZ
you
stuff.
won a contest. Can you give me some more information so that we can make sure that you get your prize?
Literally.
Totally.
Oh. So the murders inspired fictional portrayals almost immediately, and it became a staple of noir films, pulp novels, and later true crime documentaries. The case helped establish how media speculation can both elevate and heavily distort a case, turning the murder victim into a national myth.
Wild.
That's always, I would love to like study the effects of media.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to compare cases where the media was involved versus not and see how much information changes.
And the amount of times that the media doesn't get involved just because it's not a good story.
Yeah.
So these people just remain nameless and faceless because it's not a good enough story for the rest of the world to hear.
Yep.
It's so freaking sad.
It's like I was just recently listening to someone talk about the effects media had on like the Boston bomber case. They were quite literally wrong every step of the way, and they weren't just wrong, they were loud and wrong, like to the point where they were accusing a missing boy of being the one who did it, like harassing the family.
Yeah.
It was horrific. It's very scary how much, especially nowadays.
Yes.
Media is so much bigger, so everything gets spun.
Yeah.
You can see it happen recently with the Idaho 4. The internet ripped those two poor girls apart.
Right? Breaks my fucking heart what they went through. Like, to sit there and know that your best friend died and you got to walk away scot-free. Oh, the anger that they must be feeling and going through such incredible emotion, just dealing with the fact that they're gone, and then turn around and the entire world is saying, hey, you know what? Very suspicious. They did it.
Yep. It's
what?
Like those poor girls.
My God. Can we maybe stop the hardcore accusations against people until we get more information?
Because that's the thing, is like theories are one thing. Why are you spreading this stuff everywhere?
Right.
That's the thing. It's like I'll theorize and make absurd theories, but I'm going to say that person to person. I'm not going to go out on the internet and be like, I think this person did that.
Yes. This we are doing because it was so long ago and we have the actual information confirming it now. And we're only stating our opinions.
Yeah. That's the thing, is I could never fathom going and looking at an active a case that's being actively investigating and going, hey, I think this person did it.
Yep.
No.
You are destroying that person's life, whether or not they get through it, they get past the investigation stage and the accusations. Now that Brian's been sentenced and everything, those girls are still living with that agony every day of knowing there were so many people out there that were accusing them. And that is just, it hurts my heart to think of what the trauma that those two girls went through.
It's horrific.
It really is.
So we'll get into a bit of the cultural legacy she has left behind. So as of today, the Black Dahlia murder stands as not only a mystery, but a cultural mirror. Like, it's crazy. It's been explored in novels like The Black Dahlia by James Elroy, films, visual art, and countless documentaries, podcasts, YouTube channels, and it's being continued to be dissected for years now. It's literally been decades.
I get why. It is so every detail of this case is just so intriguing and fucking frustrating at the same damn time. You want to lose your bloody mind and scream, no, it's him, it's him, it's him.
Yeah. It's just, So Scholars have pointed to the case as examples of media-driven victim blaming and the fetish of female violence.
Yep.
So Elizabeth Short became the symbol of lost innocence, as well as how the media can manipulate memory. This case reflects cultural anxieties about femininity, celebrities, and violence. It's
Devastating.
It's just an awful case.
It really is.
So, in conclusion, the Black Dahlia murder remains unsolved, but its impact is unmistakable. Elizabeth Short, once a struggling actress with big dreams, became a tragic symbol of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Her death has inspired thousands of articles, books, investigations, but no justice.
She became an icon, but not in the way that she wanted.
No. Her story is not only about the crime, but how we remember and misremember victims.
Yeah.
Behind every headline is a human life, and behind every mystery is the plea for truth.
Absolutely.
As long as people remain captivated by stories of crime and consequence, Elizabeth's legacy will always continue on.
Yep, that's the one good thing. When the stories do get picked up by the media, that person's forever going to be memorialized by these videos that we're out here doing. And at least, even though they're not here to speak for themselves, we're still giving them a bit of a voice by retelling their story and keeping their name alive.
Yeah, that's why always when we're covering cases, I always try to do a little bit about the victim.
Definitely.
Because they don't have the ability to speak for themselves anymore.
And they are the one that's important. It is not the killer.
No.
It is the person that they took out of this world.
That's the one thing I think a lot of true crime gets wrong, is it's not about the case. It's not about the killer. It's not about how awful the death was. It is about the person. There's always someone that's going to be missing them.
Yeah. Somebody whose life was cut way too short, that had so many opportunities and so many dreams and chances just ripped away.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Short's legacy will always endure, not as a myth, but as a young woman whose story demands to be understood and not exploited. Well, we will leave it at that today. This is one genuinely I suggest actually looking into, because it is such an interesting one, and Elizabeth Short was such an interesting woman.
Yeah.
The more I researched about her, the more I grew an affection for her.
She definitely had that icon ability. If she would have been discovered before this happened, I think she definitely would have been one of the greats. Yeah,
I think if she would have had the time to make a name for herself, I think she would have been up in the stars.
Sucks time was stolen from her.
Well, it has been a fun episode. We'll leave it off here. We will
hope to see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.